We will start the class. Sorry for the delay. It was connected. So yesterday we have discussed the Parkinson gate tester for testing of the total composite error and the tooth-to-tooth composite error. Today we'll be seeing some problems and lastly the two terms lead checking and backlash checking. So before going to the problems, we'll just try to revise. We'll try to revise the particular limitations of Parkinson's gate tester. Generally, we have the 300 mm diameter gear, which is maximum, and usually that 150 mm or smaller diameter gears are tested. Yesterday, one of you have asked in the chart, maybe you are not aware of the diameter. I told you larger gears and only small gears, not higher gears. Okay, so just try to improve your English also. So the second one is the low friction in the movement. So when there's low friction in the movement of the floating carriage, already I told you, because in order to establish the spring pressure, we have to have a high sensitivity of the sensing unit. That's very important. That all the terms you might have heard in instrumentation subject also. The sensitivity of the instrument should be within some particular 1 micron, or for some of the instruments it may be 3 microns. It depends upon the parameters that the manufacturer will try to have, will try to design. And the accuracy is the order of 1 micron, plus or minus 1 micron. And here in the rolling test, it will not reveal all errors. Already I told you, because whenever the device is sensitive to cumulative position errors, because your particular reading will depend upon the position. Already I told you, it's very important, the position of the particular sliding carriage and the distance between the fixed carriage and the sliding carriage. Yesterday I told you how to adjust the position. This should be correct. And that not that also, the meshing also should be correct. If you are not meshing properly the master gear and the gear you have manufactured, you will not get correct result. So that's also, maybe it's not given here. That's one of the limitations you can say. So errors are also not clearly identified. So you cannot say for which profile or which pitch, or in case of helical gear, helix angle, and the tooth thickness. So you have to establish first the type of gear, the class of gear, grade 1 to 12. Already yesterday we have seen 1 to 7 is for larger, and from 8 to 12 is for smaller or precision gears. And sixth one, we have the measurements. Here the measurements are directly dependent on the master gear, because whenever the master gear, it has to be a foolproof gear with all the elements of gear checking, all the 9 parameters should be correct. There should not be any deviation. Even a single deviation should not be there on any parameter. So whatever measurements you have of your particular test gear, it will be dependent on the master gear. Okay, so that is there. So we'll just try to continue these problems and then go last. Actually, the sharing was also a little problem, connectivity. I will share the new, after finishing all the problems, we'll just go for the definitions of lead and backlash and the checking. And today we'll be completing the chapter. Maybe from Monday, Chandragar will take a new chapter. So actually, the particular settings of this straight tooth spur gear, already I told you, whatever gear checking we are going, it is only for the spur gear, the metrology, and it is about the parallel teeth or straight tooth spur gear. And here in the problem, he has given the number of teeth as 40 and module 3 pitches. What is the meaning of M is equal to module? It is of 3. Value is 3. So if you want to go for the setting of the vernier, first of all, already I told you in the vernier gear tooth caliper method, you have two verniers. One is the horizontal vernier for checking of the width or tooth thickness, this one W, and the second one you have to ascertain the height, the depth of tooth. So at this particular height setting, you have to check the gate tooth thickness W. So that's very important. And we are tired of your people attendance. I don't know whether already, I think you might have already thinking that you have achieved some particular degree, whatever degree beforehand, and you are complacent enough not attending classes. It will reflect shortly in 1 week or 10 days time, your result will come. Then it will reflect. Okay. Until then, you try to behave like that. So here, the W is equal to, what is W? Is the width of thickness of the tooth. So it is, what is the number of tooth? T. T or N, you can use 40 into 3. 3 is module and sin 90 by T. This is a formula we have seen in the derivation. Don't ask now where you got the formula. So 90 by 40. So you just try to calculate and you are getting some value. Okay. You just try to keep it aside, and depth of the tooth already we have seen in the derivation. You try to simplify this value now. 120 into sine 2 degrees 15 minutes, and try to tell me what is the answer. I'll be waiting for you. I'll be giving 1 minute time because we are very sorry to say that some of the people cannot operate the calculator also. So, in spite of you coming to third year, second semester, so we try to be careful as far as that also is concerned. So H is equal to M plus MT by 2 into 1 minus cos 92. This is the derivation we got as far as the caudal thickness method. So you are getting some value. You just try to tell me how much value you are getting upon substitution. Just try to see this number. I want one of you, I'll try to see who has attended out of 34, including me, it is 35. So one of you, we have to welcome some new people today. Maybe they thought that what Sir was telling, what topic they want to just come as a visiting professor. So some of you try to put in the chart the particular value of W and H, whether you have got that value. Some of you guys, lateral entry or 47 or Ajay, Ajad. So many people are there now. Pawan Kalyan, Durga Prasad. All of you respond. Because it's one-way traffic means it won't go. Because don't think the particular syllabus is only for JNTU writing or passing of the exam, this metrology subject. This particular problems may be given an objective or the GATE exams. So may be giving not direct, may be giving some tricky problems where you have to establish the parameters, design parameters, and then go for the final answer. And sometimes you may not give the correct value, the correct data also. You have to assume suitable data. So you have to assume. I'll just try to see. Okay. What is the, you try to put the units also because people are not conscious of the units. Units also in mm. Okay. So what value you have got? You just try to others try to confirm. Not only Durgara or somebody, but I want others to confirm also. Try to confirm this particular value. What he has got 4.71 mm. Okay. So next you try to tell me what is the depth of tooth you got. because for that particular setting of 3.042 in the vernier caliper, in the vertical vernier, you have to establish the W. You have to establish the W in the lab by using the vernier gauge tooth caliper. 3.11. Okay, some particular values may differ. It is here it is 3.04. Okay. So just try to be safe. Only two people are, and I think others are sleeping or not. Where is Durga Prasad? Where are the other people? Ajad, Sairam, Mallikarjun, Mallikarjun. It's not yes, sir. You try to give your answer. Put in the chat. And the standard answers are whatever they got. That 4. As far as W is concerned, 4.71 and the H is 3.11. So others also respond, not only these two people, because every time we are seeing only a few number, 2 or 3 or 4 responding. So just try to confirm the answers. I want the third party also, third person to come. So here that is the simple, maybe it is simple, but you try to forget the formula or try to put some sign values wrong and try to see that. And you have to see that how to convert the degrees into radians and radians into degrees also for this one. So try to be careful here. You don't have to convert, but there are some particular problems where the conversion is needed. And here the second problem, give the elements for specifying the gear, is asking. So what are the elements? We have the number of tooth, we have the diametrical pitch PD module, we have the pressure angle. So what are the important parameters? You have to specify all of them as per the gear terminology, and you have to give the formula for the circular pitch. So what is circular pitch? PC, pi m. Module is the ratio of the pitch circle diameter to number of tooth. So what is the diametrical pitch? Diametrical pitch will be equal to inverse of the module, number of tooth by pitch circle diameter. So what is base pitch? So you have already established a relation in the base pitch measuring instrument. If you get PB and if you know PB and know the pressure angle, you can find the circular pitch. So what is base pitch? PB is equal to PC cos phi. So all that terminology or the formulas, you try to keep it in mind. And what is addendum? Addendum you can take as one module, or it is the inverse of the diametrical pitch. So if you know the module value also, you can take module value as the direct this one value. But if module is not given, you try to find out the diametrical pitch and take the inverse of that one. So actually, this diametrical pitch is number of tooth per pitch circle diameter, and it is inverse of that one. And what is the other thing? Base diameter. Base diameter means it is the base circle diameter. So already that was established in the formula MT into cos phi. M module T is number of tooth. So all this is for the formula sake. So we'll try to go to the third problem. So it may be small, but conventional fundamentals, you don't have to, you just try to remember, and if you forget the fundamentals, then you'll be in trouble. So just try to see here, the third problem is we have a spur gear of 3 mm module, it is having 40 teeth, and we have to calculate the proportions like pitch circle diameter, addendum. So we have all that discussed. So what is clearance? Addendum minus addendum. And addendum can be taken as one module, that is 3 mm. And what he has asked further. So here you just try to see that formula you have to apply. Addendum is equal to addendum plus clearance, but clearance in the theoretical discussion, we can take clearance as 0.25 module. So just try to see that. So m plus 0.25, it is 1.25. Simple. And pitch circle diameter is ours, is mt, m into t, module into number of tooth. So don't keep small t because it's case sensitive. It is capital T only, because some of the authors may not have followed the standard notations, standard case is lowercase and uppercase like that. And what is the other thing you have to follow? He has told the working height. What is the working height here? Addendum, dedendum, comma, working height. So what is the working height? It is the total depth, or it is the addendum plus dedendum. What is addendum? Already I told you, it's the distance from the radial height from the pitch circle to the tip of the tooth. What is the dedendum? It is the height from the pitch circle to the bottom of the tooth. So you just know the terminology or definitions. That's why you try to keep that diagram into consideration. Just don't write theory. You have to draw neat sketches. So what is addendum here? It is one module, 3. What is addendum? You have calculated 1.25 m, that is 3.75. This is direct, but there's no twisting, but you have to know the formulas. Okay, so what is base pitch here? Base pitch is m pi cos phi. So don't be confused with the base circle diameter. Base circle diameter is mt into cos phi, but here that's where the students go wrong. So it is m is the 3 module. The pressure angle is given as 20. You just try to establish these answers. Try to put in the chart all these answers, what you have got, apart from the first two. First two are simple. Only you have to know the formulas. The fourth one and fifth one. And try to tell me the value of base pitch also. Put in the chart. Other than Durga Rao and Pavel Kalyan, I want from others also. Just simply say sleeping in Friday's fourth hour and Saturday's first hour. Only when we force you, you try to come and try to not concentrate on the class also. Only 50 people have joined up to now. I want all of you to respond to the base pitch answer. How much you have got? ముందుకెళ్ళాలమ్మా, మీ గురించి చూడడం. వాళ్ళిద్దరూ కాకుండా వేరే వాళ్ళు లేరా? Don't put some particular abbreviations in your register numbers 324. What is GN? You may be giving your short form of your particular name. Venkatesh. What other people have joined? Tarun, Ramana, Srimanarayana. All these people. Don't put your household names also. So you have got the value as how much? 8.87. So just try to cross-check the answers. And the fourth problem is regarding the chord length. What is chord length? It's a second method to establish the gate tooth thickness. We have gone for the derivation also in the theory. And he is asking us to calculate the distance below the tooth tip for a gear of module 4 and 20 degrees pressure angle. Just try to see this also. So we'll be sharing. Yeah, people are more worried about sharing of PDFs or lecture notes or PPTs. Try to concentrate in the class also. So what is chord length? As per the from basic fundamentals, m into pi by 2 into cos square phi. You just try to establish the answer. I won't go further. I just try to skip off the, the, the two small topics. Actually, it was not specified clearly, but they are part of the elements of gear checking, lead and backlash. So this was the particular formula we have established, m into m, if you try to take common, m into 1 minus pi by 4 into sin phi cos phi. What I told you, instead of going for sin phi cos phi, you try to multiply and divide by 2, numerator and denominator. You will be getting 2 sin phi cos phi is sin 2 phi. So you've got here. So this is the final derivation, m into 1 minus pi by 8 into sin 2 phi. Okay, standard people, you just try to, I don't want to specify any particular person. You try to establish the formula or the answers, and try to put in the chart so that we can move over to the theory, the final phase of this chapter. So you try to be careful, cross-check the formulas once again and your calculations also, because operation, when I asked in the lab your previous people, they're not able to convert simple degree values into minutes or seconds, or somebody is telling 5.5 degrees like that. So it's not, it is wrong. You have to establish the angular measurements in degrees, minutes and seconds. So you have to know which button you have to press on the calculator also, because there will not be any additional training for that one. You have to learn, because already you are grown up and you have to know how to use the function keys and everything in the calculator. So we have already finished that, discussed the various sources of errors in manufacturing of gas. I don't want to touch that. And before leaving this particular problem, we'll try to go to the theory. And again, I want to ask Pawan Kalyan or Durga Prasad and Durga Rao to tell me the answers, and then we'll leave, because nobody are responding means even the lateral pantry people are sleeping. I just told Mallikarjun and other persons, Tarun or somebody, because already it was there in diploma, not this metrology subject. I don't know, but you have to be proactive. All the people, not only few people. But still, 50% people are attending the class. It's a bad sign. So try to tell me that what is the distance below the tip of the gear. Here the answer hidden. Shall we stop the class? Nobody is responding, because in the beginning we had an internet problem and nobody is responding. Means what's the fun of taking the class? So what is the distance below the tip of the gear? H value. How much you got? 3.59. Eh? Someone has got 3.49. 0.1 difference. Who are the others? I want another person to answer also, apart from these people. Pawan Kalyan. Try to, I already told you beginning, you have to be conscious of the units also. Don't give only the numerical values, whether it is 3.59 mm or 3.49 mm. Okay. So just try to move to that another slide. So just try to take care of this particular problems you may ask in the not only the JNT exams, other competitive exams relating to the gate to thickness or any other parameter. Okay, so just try to stop the share and then we'll go for the lead and backlash shifting. So we'll try to go to the lead and backlash checking. So what is the lead? In case of a screw thread, is the axial distance advanced by the screw for one revolution. And you can say lead, we have the lead checking instrument. And what is backlash? Already told you, don't confuse backlash with the clearance. Before I just told you how to. So for backlash, we have to take two pair of gears. One pair you have to lock it, and then the distance moved by the other gear, you have to just establish by the comparator or an instrument, and then try to have. So according to the particular national standards, we have two types of backlash. One is the circumferential backlash and the other one is the, what is that? Normal backlash. Just like PB is equal to PC cos phi. You know one of the parameters, you know the pressure angle, you can get the other backlash. Okay. So these are the other things we have finished. So I just want to concentrate on the problems. I don't know how many I followed. స్తబ్దత ఉంటే తెలియదమ్మా, మీరేమీ మాట్లాడకపోతే మీకు అర్థమవుతుందని ఎలా తెలుస్తుంది? All the other parameters we have finished except this two. Actually has not given in the syllabus. I don't know why he has not mentioned clearly. So we have to just go for this one. So we'll just try to check them because yesterday we have seen that runout also. Already I told you, you can check in the Parkinson gate tester also. because if you find out the eccentricity of the gear, so whenever you want to have the eccentricity, you have to just specify with the reference circle or the pitch circle. And whenever the gears are eccentric, you will have a gear noise. Why we have gear noise? Because the gears will tend to have vibrations. If they are rotating the gear for revolution, you will be having the gear noise, and or you will be having the eccentric tooth. If they are having an eccentric tooth, there may be gear failure, and the runout of the gears. How you measure? Because directly you are not measuring runout. So runout, it can be classified into three categories. One is the axial runout, the radial runout, and the third one is the side runout or wobble. So in that particular direction, you have to check as far as the gear is concerned. So already we have seen how it is checked, but I want to just touch upon this particular table. So how many class or grade of gears are there? There are 12 class or 12 grades. So you have to know this particular formulas are existing. So for first class we have 0.22 F plus 3. So you don't have to mug up because design data are given in the design subjects, and we have in the gear manufacturing shop all this particular data, the tables where you can calculate the value of F. Suppose module is some particular 3 or 4, you can calculate here and try to substitute the value of F in this 0.224 into F value plus 3. That's how you have to see. And when anybody asks in the lab, can you check directly the runout? You have to give a correct answer, because runout you can only check by employing or using the gear eccentricity testers, E, because runout is twice the eccentricity. So whenever you want to check this, you have to hold the gear on the mandrel in the centers, in between centers, and the dial gauge of this particular tester. Already I told you how the tip of the dial gauge will be there, how you design as per the module of the gear being checked. Just like you are using different styli for the different surface, different surfaces in the surface texture chapter, because they will be supplied along with the instrument. I told you when we are discussing the Taylor's Hobson Talisser. Here also there will be different tips. You have to change the tip, because you have to screw and unscrew the tip at the tip of the plunger or stylus of the dial gauge, and you have to insert the exact you can say styli or probe in the dial gauge indicator, and how you insert the tip, what is the position in between the tooth spaces, not exactly on the tooth, in between the tooth spaces. So after doing that, you have to rotate the gear tooth by tooth, and you have to see the maximum variation you should note down, not the least variation. So whenever the reading will have some consistency as far as the maximum variation on the dial gauge indicator, you have to note down, and that reading is given as the runout of the gear. So the runout is twice the eccentricity. Already I told you. So like that, depending on the directions, what I told you. Arrow symbol is there in production drawing as far as the radial runout is concerned, whether it's the axial runout or the radial runout. You have to put in an inclination direction, and all the three have to be checked. You don't have to satisfy with only one parameter, because if the axial runout is correct, the radial runout may not be correct. If axial runout and radial runout are correct, there may be a chance of variation in the side runout or wobble. So just try to see that. And And lead. What is the lead? Not lead, not pencil lead like that. So we have that. What is the lead? Is the axial distance advanced by the screw or the helix per turn of a revolution of the gear. I want to just give a particular note here as far as the whenever we are referring to the tip or bottom of the tooth, we are telling as crest or root, but just try to remember for remembrance sake as far as when we compare to the screw thread, I told, but that's also correct. But another way of just expressing those terms are tip and toe. Where you have a tip and toe in your human body, anatomy of the human. What is that? Tip and toe. Try to take your shoe or barefoot and try to just check up which is tip and which is toe. You just try to balance on the toe. Tip is the finger. You just try to see that. So you have to check the dictionary or somebody. Okay, it's an online class. I just try to post the people to see in the Webster dictionary through mobile. What is tip and what is toe? Because that is the variation you will get while checking the errors in the composite method of gear checking. The tooth-to-tooth composite error and the, what is that? Total composite error. So the variation, periodic variation will be there, means the gear is manufactured correctly. That means the gear is perfect. If there is some intermittent variation, means it's moderate. If totally its variation is not stable, then you have to reject the gear. That's how you can establish the quality of the gear. And the instrument used for lead checking is the, what is that? Lead checking instrument only. So that particular thing you can see, because the tooth load, while you're checking the lead in measurement, it should be uniformly distributed across the face width of the gears. But as seen in gear technology or terminology, what is the face width of the gear? And you have to see that it is necessary that the lead per tooth of mating gears you should closely match. Because yesterday also I told you the flank contact, the single flank test, as far as the pinion and the gear, because in the double flank test, there may be erroneous results or not good results while checking the errors, the total composite error and tooth-to-tooth composite error. So we are not worried about the helical gear, but I want to tell you, we are checking the errors in the helical gear. We can say we have a uniform, non-uniform load concentration. You should have a uniform load concentration, whether it's per gear or helical gear or bevel gear or worm and worm wheel. So if we have a non-uniform load concentration, it will result in gear noise. Smooth operation will not be there, and there will be damage to the gear tooth also. Wear and tear of the gear tooth, and it will lead to erroneous results. So you should see that the irregularities in lead. What is the cause or what is the reason? It may be due to poor manufacture of the gear or the presence of the tooth undulations. I was referring to the tip and toe, that wavy form or that particular irregular waveform, just like in surface texture. Because you can easily identify that particular variations or the irregularities in the graphical record, either in the profile checking or in the Parkinson gear tester checking, the composite method of gear checking. So here also you have to see that in the helical gear, suppose though we are not having a syllabus, but it may be universal knowledge you should have, because objective or the particular maybe SSC or other RRB or sale or management trainee, they will not worry about your particular syllabus. They may ask any particular question regarding other gears also. So whenever any helix angle of the pinion and gear are same, helix angle alpha, but the lead may be different. Why? Because you can give the answer because the diameters of the pinion and gear may be different. Helix angle may be same, but the pinion diameter dp and dg may vary. That's the thing. And already I told you about the center distance also. Average of the distance of the diameter of the pinion and the gear. So just try to see that also. Helix angle value increases from the roots to the tip of the tooth. So whenever anybody asks the Viva speech question, don't say helical gear is not there in syllabus, but universally I told you the objective for the competitive exams. Don't say it's from the tip to the root of the tooth. It's from the root. Root means what is that? Dedendum. From dedendum to addendum, it will be varying. The variation will be there. So here lead can be measured either on a point-to-point basis, or you can generate by means of continuous generation. You have to use special purpose machines, special purpose measuring machines here. Okay, you can have that time bar mechanism also. You know that concept in the second unit, and we'll practically do the taper angle of a shaft. Establish the taper angle of shaft using sine bar. Then you can just know what is the mechanism there, or that is a practical method, but here it is a mechanism. Maybe you might have seen that crank and slotted lever mechanism which work like that. Here also you are converting whatever the derived, whatever the linear motion into the rotary motion of the gear. So you have to see that also. And last but not the least, we have the backlash. And backlash is very important. It is not given in the drawing. It's why? Because it depends upon the application where the gear is to be used. The end user will try to sit with the manufacturing people or the design people of that particular company and try to explain the application, for what application they are using, and then try to sit together. You have to know what are the factors affecting backlash also. It depends upon the center distance. It depends upon the pitch line velocity. What is the pitch line velocity? Exactly at the pitch circle V is equal to pi dn by 60. So know all that formula also. Okay. There n is not the number of tooth. It is revolution RPM. Okay. D is the pitch circle diameter. And you have to take the runout into consideration also. So many factors. You can take the thermal aspects of the gear also, because they may be using that particular gear in the environment, thermal environment. Already I told you to take the material of the gear into consideration and try to know the values of the coefficient of linear expansion. So all the parameters you have to consider. And what is the gear? Gear already I told you, simply we are not knowing the definition, is a play between the mating tooth surfaces. But already I told you there are definite definitions. Already I told you the amount by which the tooth space exceeds the tooth thickness. Then there is another definition, like is not given here, but in standard textbooks. This is standard, but maybe just skip that definition. So whenever you are trying to establish the backlash, you have to see that one pair of gear is fixed or locked, and the other gear you try to rotate, and the circumferential movement of the gear is recorded by the comparator. So that is the backlash. And as per the national standards, we have two types of backlash. One is the normal backlash and the circumferential backlash. PB is equal to PC cos phi. No? Normal backlash is equal to circumferential backlash or the circular backlash into cos phi. Circumferential or circular. So just try to see that also, because the backlash variation you can measure by locating the points of maximum and minimum backlash in the pair of gears and try to establish the difference. So precision gears, the variation should not be exceeding beyond 30 microns, or its value will be between 20 to 30 microns. So that you have to see. And like other gear parameter measurement, the mounting of the gears in a specified position is very important. Like mounting is one parameter. Second one is you have to see that the meshing should be correct. Okay, because whenever you are trying to measure the backlash, you have to measure the backlash at the tightest point of mesh. Just try to see that concept of limits also, because the concept of limits, clearance fit, transition fit, and interference fit. You can just remember the interference fit for this one, as far as the tightest point of mesh. Okay, so how you try to have, so you try to have the pinion. Pinion is, you have to hold the pinion solidly or tightly against rotation, and you have to mount the dial gauge indicator. You have to place the dial gauge indicator against the tooth. You just try to see what are the words I have used before. At the extreme heel. That's why I told you to know the anatomy of the gear also by comparing your foot, bare foot. So you have to establish the or set the dial gauge indicator exactly against the tooth at the extreme heel, perpendicular to the surface, not parallel. If you are measuring the particular value parallel to the surface, then you won't get correct result as far as the backlash is concerned. That is a precaution you have to take, but that is a necessary setting or important setting. The person who is checking the backlash, he has to take into consideration. But you don't try to take readily the reading. You have to see whether the gear is moving backward or forward. The backlash is determined by you have to move the gear back and forth. And that position already I told you, that extreme heel perpendicular to the surface. Okay, so I want you to know, as far as the syllabus is concerned or not, the backlash and lead in short answers I may ask, and try to see IC Gupta or any other standard textbook for the factors affecting backlash, because RK Jain has not told. I just given you some of the things, parameters like pitch line velocity, thermal aspects, run out, or whatever things, center distance. Okay, and so many parameters. You can have some up to 10 parameters, the factors affecting backlash. Okay, because everything is not spoon feeding. You just try to keep relax, because already are relaxing in this COVID period. As for the online classes are concerned, not attending. Okay, so we just try to. I want already told you, not only CR, the other persons also take care. We have missed any topic, whether it's important or unimportant. It's not that whether the topic it is missed. You just try to again remind us when we try to start a new chapter and new unit. Okay, so Monday we'll again meet, and thank you for patient hearing. And whatever I want to just cover today, the backlash, lead, and problems on gear I have covered, and we have covered all the 9 elements of gear. You just try to check up yourself. as per the syllabus, and then try to respond in the next class. Thank you for patient hearing.